These 15 skills will give you an unfair advantage over almost everyone around you, and none of them are taught in school. You don't need talent, luck, or connections to build them. You just need intention. Let's get straight into it, starting with the one skill almost nobody has left. 1. Focus. We live in a world built to fracture your attention. Notifications, short-form videos, endless scrolling. Deep focus has become rare. If you can sit down and work on one important task without distraction, you're already ahead of most people. Focus lets you learn faster, produce better work, and do it in less time. But focus alone isn't enough if you don't understand what's actually driving your behavior in the first place. And that's where most people get blindsided. 2. Self-awareness. Organizational psychologist Tasha Eurich studied this for over a decade and found something surprising. 95% of people believe they're self-aware. In reality, only about 10 to 15% actually are. Most people don't know their own patterns, blind spots, or how they come across to others, and that gap quietly sabotages their decisions, relationships, and careers. People with higher self-awareness get promoted more often and lead more effectively, simply because they're not flying blind. Once you actually see yourself clearly, the next skill becomes a lot easier because most people fail at it before they even notice it happening. 3. Emotional control. Life will test you. Criticism, failure, rejection, setbacks. If every challenge hijacks your emotions, you'll constantly get knocked off track. Learning to stay calm under pressure and respond instead of react gives you a massive advantage in both your personal and professional life. But staying calm is only half the battle. The real compounding advantage comes from what you do with your mind once things settle down. 4. Learning how to learn. Most people stop learning the moment they leave school. Successful people never do. Instead of memorizing information, they learn how to acquire new skills efficiently. Reading, taking notes, asking better questions, and applying what they learn. In a world changing this fast, the ability to learn quickly might be the single most valuable skill you can own. And once you can learn fast, the next question is, can you actually wait for the results to show up? 5. Delayed gratification. In the late 1960s, Stanford psychologist Walter Mischel ran what became one of the most famous experiments in psychology, the marshmallow test. Kids were offered one marshmallow now, or two if they waited a few minutes. Decades of follow-up studies found the kids who waited tended to do better academically and socially later on, though newer research adds an important nuance. A child's background and environment also shape their ability to wait. Still, the core lesson holds up in adult life. People who can trade a small reward now for a bigger one later consistently outperform people who can't. We're a third of the way through this list, and the next skill is what turns everything above into an actual habit. 6. Discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, is a superpower. Most people rely on emotion to take action. Disciplined people rely on systems and habits. That's why they keep making progress while everyone else quits. Discipline gets the work done, but none of it matters if you can't get anyone to actually listen to what you built. 7. Communication. You can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't explain them clearly, they won't go anywhere. Communication affects your relationships, your career, your network, your leadership. People who express their thoughts clearly get opportunities everyone else misses. Learning to speak, write, and listen well can change your entire future. And once you can communicate clearly, there's one specific extension of that skill almost nobody practices, and it's quietly costing them real money. 8. Negotiation. Nearly 60% of people never negotiate their starting salary. They just accept whatever number is offered. Research estimates that negotiating even once can add tens of thousands of dollars over a career, with some studies putting the lifetime impact well into 6 figures. Negotiation isn't about being aggressive. It's about knowing your value, doing your research, and being willing to have the uncomfortable conversation that most people avoid entirely. Communication and negotiation get you in the room. What happens after that depends on who you know. 9. Building relationships. Your network can open doors that hard work alone cannot. People naturally want to help those they know, trust, and respect. Building genuine relationships creates opportunities, support, knowledge, and collaboration you simply can't generate alone. Some of the biggest advantages in life come through other people, not solo effort. But relationships only compound if you show up consistently, and that's where almost everyone quietly fails. 10. Consistency. This might be the most underrated skill on this entire list. Most people can work hard for one day. Very few can do it for months or years. Small actions, repeated consistently, create extraordinary results. In fitness, learning, business, anything, consistency beats intensity almost every single time. We're 2/3 through, and the next 5 skills are what separate people who are simply hardworking from people who actually get ahead. 11. Decision making. Your life is the sum of your decisions. Yet most people spend more time choosing what to watch tonight than planning the decisions that actually shape their future. Learning to think critically, weigh your options, and decide with confidence can save you years of wasted time and effort. But knowing how to decide well means nothing if you're waiting for someone else's permission to act on it. 12. High agency. There's a concept that's spread fast across business and psychology circles called high agency. It describes people who, when told something is impossible, immediately start looking for a way around it instead of accepting the limitation. Research on what psychologists call proactive personality has found it correlates with promotions and career growth even more strongly than IQ or raw talent. High agency people don't wait for perfect conditions or someone else's permission. They see a gap and start closing it, and when the world keeps changing under your feet, agency alone isn't enough. You also have to bend with it. 13. Adaptability. The world changes fast. Industries change. Technology changes. Trends change. The people who succeed long-term aren't always the smartest. They're often the most adaptable. Being willing to learn new skills and adjust your approach keeps you relevant no matter what happens around you. Adaptability keeps you in the game, but there's one entire category of that game most adults were never actually taught the rules to. 14. Financial literacy. Most people cannot answer a simple finance question, and that is costing them $1,000 a year in poor financial decisions. Understanding how compound interest, debt, saving, and investing actually work isn't taught in most schools, so most people learn it the hard way, if they learn it at all. The people who take the time to understand money tend to build wealth quietly, while everyone else works just as hard and stays stuck. And once you understand money, ideas, and people, there's one last skill that ties all of it together. 15. Sales and persuasion. Whether you're applying for a job, making friends, building a business, or sharing an idea, you are constantly persuading people. Sales isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding people and communicating real value. The people who master persuasion tend to have access to opportunities everyone else never even sees. At the end of the day, none of these 15 skills are secrets. The reason they create an unfair advantage is because most people already know they matter. They just never take the time to actually build them. You don't need all 15 to change your life. Pick one, master it, then move to the next. Over time, these skills stack on top of each other and create a version of you that's almost impossible to compete with. The biggest advantage in life was never about being born special. It's about becoming someone who keeps improving while everyone else stays exactly the same. If you made it this far, drop a comment with the number of the skill you're starting with today and subscribe because the next video takes this even further.